Hey guys, Average Scarecrow here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Thank you very much for dropping by the channel. As always, I really appreciate it. Today we're going to be doing a video over Balthus Droglord. This guy's an old school epic champion out of the Undead Horde factions. He's a Spirit Affinity defense based champion. He's kind of like I think he's meant to be a little bit of a debuffer, a little bit of a damage dealer. You know, not a whole lot to his kit, but I did manage to pull a 6-star soul for him. We've got the 2x event going on right now, the 2x event going on right now for 5 and 6-star perfect souls. They had an anniversary pack going on, went ahead and picked one up. Got a couple good souls out of it, but the 6-star, the only 6-star I got was Balthus Droglord. So I went ahead, I got his masteries done, and we're going to go ahead and test this guy out to see how he does. Now, before we actually get into the kit, he actually, I think, is one of the cooler looking epic champions in the game. He's got the double shield here. He's got like the magic going on, the purple. He kind of looks like a gladiator, like an undead gladiator. So he looks really cool. The reviews on him, not many, only 66 reviews, but pretty average, I would say. Faction Wars being his best area, and then Hydra being his second best because he has a Provoke ability on his A3. We'll go over that in a second. So overall, very cool. I like the way he looks. Let's see how he actually does inside of the game, though, especially being, you know, years old now. How is he in today's current state of Raid Shadow Legends? So let's start off with the A1 here. We've got Shield Strike. You need 4 books for this to fully book it. Attacks one enemy, has a 30, books up to 40% chance of placing a drop attack on the A1. Okay, that's not horrible. You know, you're kind of starting to see rares with ability, or not starting. You have rares with abilities like this, so I'm not sure if this is like a great ability for an epic, but it's not horrible. On the A2 we've got Doom Wheels. This book's down to a 3-turn cooldown. You need 2, 4, 6 books for this one, so kind of a reader, this guy. Attacks all enemies, has a 75, books up to 100% chance of placing a 30% decrease crit rate for 2 turns. Now, in newer content, bosses have higher crit rates, and so do some of the wave contents as well. So decreased crit rate actually, you know, I'm not going to say it's a good debuff, but if you notice that you're getting, you know, like, you know, hit really hard, maybe you can't survive the critical hits, Balthus can come in and he can actually completely neutralize the enemy ability to be able to land critical hits. I think in the base content, it's 15% crit rate, but I think the higher up you go, for example, when you go to the stage 30 of the event dungeon, I'm pretty sure they have 100% crit rate in that. So you can use stuff like this now, and it's a little more effective than it used to be. I'm not going to say this is like now in the arena of being a good debuff, because I don't think it is. But in niche situations, sure, you could probably find some value out of it. On the A3 here, we've got Driven to Slaughter. This book's to books to a 4-turn cooldown. Attacks one enemy, has a 75, books up to 100% chance of placing a Provoke debuff for 2 turns. Okay, so a 2-turn Provoke on a 4-turn cooldown. That's actually pretty good as a single target. This is why he's so good in Hydra. You can get a 2-turn Provoke on the, I forget their names, I'm sorry, the Provoke head. For 2 turns. Really, really nice. And then he also has a 20% heal of his own max HP, damage based on defense, obviously. So it does hit decently hard, I'll say. I don't know if it's anything crazy, but so you can get a pretty decently sized heal off of this. And then on the passive, Enchanted Shields reflects 30% of the damage this champion receives back to the attacker. So kind of an interesting passive. It's a built-in 30% reflect damage. There is some stuff in, for example, Chimera, where reflect damage is doing even more damage. There are some, what am I thinking here? There are some trials that have to do with reflecting damage back. So if you're really wanting those trials done, you could, you know, potentially use them there. I would say probably not, but you could potentially use them there. He's got defense in faction crisps by 30%. And of course, I have mine in 6-star crushing rend. It scales so well into the later game, you're getting like 35% ignore defense in some of these areas, which is just incredible. On the relic, I've got him in Gilded Dragonstone. Wearer's defense increases by 1% each time they receive damage, up to 10%. I don't have this one leveled up at all. I've also got the wearer receives 10% more healing because of that heal on his A3, and then the wearer's defense increases by 1% each time they receive a critical hit. Now that one doesn't, it doesn't synchronize. There's not a lot of synergy with this kit. I thought about that after I put it in there. He's got decreased crit rate, right? So not a great fit, but you never know. He might get hit, 1 or 2 times, and now you've got a couple percent more defense there. So I'm not going to use the Star Stones or whatever they're called to switch it out. Moving on from there, let's go into the masteries here. So we've got Deadly Precision for crit rate. We've got Keen Strike for crit damage. We've got Heart of Glory, bonus 5% damage when attacking with max HP. Life Drinker, heals by 5% of the damage inflicted when attacking with 50% HP or less. We've got Whirlwind of Death, increases speed by 6 for each enemy killed by this champion, up to 18 bonus speed. Cycle of Violence has a 30% chance of decreasing the cooldown of a random skill by 1 turn if the damage inflicted by a skill exceeds 30% or more of the target's max HP. So he does have a 4-turn cooldown on the Provoke. Who knows, maybe we can get that down to a 3-turn. So it would be more like a 2-turn Provoke on a 3-turn cooldown. Pretty cool there. Bring It Down increases damage inflicted by 6% when attacking targets with a higher max HP. Methodical increases the damage inflicted by the champion's default skill by 2% each time it is used during a battle, up to 10% across each round. Killstreak increases the damage inflicted by 6% in arena and siege battles, and 3% in all other locations for each enemy killed by this champion in battle, up to 12% across each round. And then finally, of course, we've got Helm Smasher. I'm trying to get as much ignore defense as I can. So a 50% chance to ignore 25% of the target's defense. This is in addition to the amount ignored by the skill he is using. And then from there, we're going down the defensive tree. So we've got Tough Skin for some defense. We've got Blast Proof to mitigate AoE damage by 5%. We've got Shadow Heal. I'm actually a fan of Shadow Heal. Every time an enemy heals this champion by 6% of their max HP. Occurs once per turn. We've got Delayed Death to reduce the damage taken by this champion from a specific enemy by 0.75% with each hit from that enemy. Stacks up to 6% for each enemy, so up to 6% damage mitigation. And then finally, we've got Retribution. Has a 50% chance to counterattack when this champion loses 25% of their max HP or more from a single enemy skill, so potentially more drop attacks from the A1 as well. Now, you could also go the support tree and, maybe, I don't know, get some more accuracy, maybe pick up like I don't know. Yeah, I didn't go Master Hexer here because you can't extend the Provoke and decrease crit rate. I don't think it's that important that you need to extend it to 3 turns. It's already on a 3-turn cooldown, so it's not the worst. I do want to shout out something else here, though. You could also go Mask of Rage. Wearer receives 5% less damage from enemies under a Provoke debuff. You can get this up to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 15% less damage from enemies under Provoke. I think that Mask of Rage is better on champions with AoE Provoke, but it is a solid option, I think. All right. On the build here, I went ahead and I went 2-piece Feral, 6-piece Merciless, and then 1-piece Stone Skin because it gives us a lot of speed. We're looking for, obviously, defense, crit rate, crit damage, speed, accuracy, all the usual stuff when you have kind of like a hybrid damage dealer and debuffer. So, we're looking at crit damage with crit rate. We've got defense with a quad crit rate, crit rate on the chest plate. We've got speed with defense percentage and crit damage there. We've got accuracy with the trip speed roll, defense percentage and defense. Let's go ahead and no, I don't want to use one of the big ones for that, but let's see if we can get a little bit here. Nice. And there we go, 3%. And then maybe oh, wow, low rolling all over the place. There we go, 14. So there we go, a little bit more defense as well. Crit rate with, or crit damage with defense here, a little bit of accuracy. The substats are not great on that, but it does give us, just this one piece alone gives us 49 accuracy, so that's pretty good. On the total stats, we've got about 50,000 on the HP, 4707 on the defense, 236 on the speed, 300 on the crit damage, and 372 on the accuracy. Now let's go ahead and why don't we just start off in Classic Arena this time. Reset just happened, so I have fallen out of Gold 5, but that might honestly be a good thing. So we'll let's see what we can do here. So let's see if we can freeze everybody. We do. Place drop defense. Now, we're not running increased defense, so keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and let's see what the A2 can do here. Let's just take out, or A3, sorry, the Provoke. We've got 100,000 is good. Yeah, that's good. That's a hard-hitting, probably a squishy champion, so I would say it's probably not anything super crazy. But you can see there we got the double. So this is already down to a 1-turn cooldown. So that's the beautiful thing about 4-piece Merciless and then that passive as well, Mastery as well. So why don't we just test out the A1? Boom. About 50,000. Also not bad. Kind of a squishier team. But he can come in and hit decently hard. Let's see if there's anyone with maybe a little bit more. Yeah, these teams are not, obviously not, we're on Gold 4. Not super, not super strong, but let's go ahead and test out the A2 here this time. Slow it down. Yeah, I mean, the AoE is a little low, but remember that even if you don't kill everybody, you're still getting potentially drop crit rate. So that's going to, their damage dealers are probably still going to have, what am I thinking? About 70% crit rate. Let's go and do this. Boom. Look, 70% crit rate now. And let's just see. So look at that. We neutralized him. So not bad, not bad. 46,000. The damage in arena, I would say, is not anything to write home about. But like I said, the having that opportunity to mitigate the critical hits is pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and see if he can knock out this guy. Yeah, 104,000 almost. And then we got the skill decrease as well. And that's without obviously, again, increased defense. So 79,000 on that one. And why don't we just sorry, I've got an infection in my eye. It's like really it's really making me itch. Let's do defense. Let's bring in an increased defense champion. And I want to test the damage with increase defense. So let's get rid of that magma shield. Ew, icky. And now let's see what he can do. Boom. 105. So honestly not that much different. Let's put weaken out, and then he's weak affinity here. That's fine. Boom. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, obviously, like I said, we're in Gold 4 arena, so I don't think it's anything too crazy. But obviously, if you're in Gold 4 and you have that guy or lower, then he can be a serviceable champion in a couple of different ways. So overall, I would say not bad. Let's go Dragon Hard 10 here, like we normally do. I want to see what he can put out as far as damage goes. We'll try and give him the best setup that we can. So we're running increased defense. We're running defense lead, defense in all battles with Wixwell. Let's do this. Drop defense and weaken. Got resisted there, but that's fine. Increased defense goes out. Let's slow it down, and let's see what he can do on the A3. Since this guy is not stunned, we'll just go ahead and try it on him, but no weaken. So now we've got a 2-turn provoke, and we did about 200, I think it was 240,000 there. So in all honesty, not horrible, especially without the weaken. Not bad. Let's do this. I should have extended the increased defense, but that's fine. Slow it down again. Drop defense and weaken out on everybody. We've still got 1 turn of increased defense, so boom. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's, yeah, all right. About 100, I think I saw 150-ish, somewhere in that range. We'll go ahead and just pick everybody apart now. Oh, look at that. We've already got it off cooldown. Boom. 199. Okay, so about 200,000. So the damage is scaling up a little bit now that he's getting kills. Boom. Boom. And boom. 152,000 on the A1 as well. That's a solid A1. Solid damage. And remember, that's going to scale up even more as well. And that was without increased defense, I think. Okay, drop defense and weaken. Let's put the increased defense back out. And let's go ahead and just AoE here. Boom. Yeah, 150. That's about what I saw. So maybe that 200k was with crushing, or not crushing rend, with the tier 6 mastery. What's it called? Helm Smasher? Yeah, Helm Smasher maybe. A3 here. Boom. Look at that. 339,000. Nice. Okay. Nice. Hard-hitting A3 like that. The damage is scaling up a little bit as well. He's not taking any hits, though. Remember that. So he's got Gilded Dragonstone, but he's not taking any hits. So he's not getting that, bonus 10% defense. That's going to be more so for, like, when we go into Hydra. Because there's no way to avoid getting hit in Hydra. About 200k on that one. And then I'm curious to see what his passive does. So I'm going to put Strengthen out. Put drop defense and weaken out. Put increased defense up. Schmackaroony. Almost 500,000 there. Okay, so he didn't break the shield. So we didn't get any damage reflected. So the shield, remember that. The shield, don't have the shield up if you want the passive. We'll just put that back up. I don't want to extend the shield now because I'm curious about the passive. Let's see what he does on the A1. 272,000. Again, not bad. Not great, not bad. Boom. Okay. I'm going to slow it down because I want to see. Ah. That's fine. Take a turn, damn you. 357. Yikes. So at 4,000 damage reflected. Okay. We do have drop attack up. So that's something. Yeah, not... So the passive, not super great. Let's go ahead and put this back up. Okay, and we can go ahead. I think we can just throw it on auto at this point. Oh, that was 500,000 though. Out of the that was 500,000 on the A1. So the damage scales up quite nicely, actually. So yeah, really 267 on that one. I'm actually really happy with the damage out of this guy so far. 257 on the A1. So I think when that Helm Smasher procs, you really start to see that damage start to increase quite a lot. Yeah, 247. Very impressive. I'm happy with that. So we got 5.4 coming out of Balthus. 4.7 almost out of Odin. Not bad. Not bad. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I do want to see... The Ice Golem doesn't really... He doesn't really hurt you with a critical hit. He hurts you because he does true damage. So I'm not convinced... I'm not convinced that he's going to help out much, but let's just take a look. Let's put drop defense and weaken out. Boom. No increased defense, but still. Did about half HP on those guys. Not bad. Let's go ahead and get this off. Boom. That's fine. Take those guys out. 78.5 on the A1. Okay, so increase defense, increase accuracy. Boom. Let's go ahead and drop the crit rate on them. Decrease attack. $207,000 there. And he'll come back, hit us again. But he's not critical hitting. And because of the decreased attack, he's really not hitting hard at all, which is nice. So I think the combination of decreased attack and decreased crit rate seems to be pretty good. Let's go here. We'll take that off. Still have decreased attack and decreased crit rate. Let's see if we survive another hit. Yep. And okay, but you see what I mean. When he has 100% ignore defense, he doesn't need to critical hit you. He can basically just come in and wipe your team out by normal hitting them. So not super helpful, I guess. Like, if you can block revive, then yeah, I mean, you totally neutralize his ability to be able to critical hit you. But if you can't block revive, then it doesn't matter, because even his normal hit is going to hit you extremely hard. And you can do the same thing for the Phantom Shogun as well. You can come in here. We'll take you guys out. Let's just do... You know what? Let's bring in Caden. I like Caden. And he's 6-star awakened, which is nice as well. We'll bring in Donnie as well. Okay. So we can go in here. And like I said, you can do the same thing here. You can go decrease attack. Maybe. It's not a super great land rate. I thought he was faster. So we'll take you out. He's got the most crit damage. So let's bring someone else in who's got more crit damage, which I think Marius does. So we'll bring Marius in. Yep, that's fine. Fine with me. We'll go here. We'll drop his crit rate and do 169,000 damage, which is pretty good damage, in all honesty. He's enfeebled, so I don't want to hit him too much. Drop defense. And then look at that. So he didn't critical hit, which is nice. But I wasted the cleanse. So I used it out of order. I should have... We'll just use that because it's not an attack. Increase defense, increase accuracy. Nice. Okay. Yep, he's not able to critical hit. Now he is. Still can't critical hit, so we'll just A1. There we go. Let's try this. Marius. Marius is so busted, man. So busted. All right, let's put the decreased crit rate back on and 261,000 damage. So, I mean, he's hitting pretty hard, you know? Hitting pretty hard. I'm impressed with this guy. I want to see what his A3 does, though. Ah, bummer. We're not going to be able to see. Yeah. Oh, well. We'll just throw it on auto. They'll figure it out eventually. Yep. There we go. And so pretty good, especially with the 6-star awakening for the Phantom Shogun. I don't know if I can make him work in Sand Devil's Necropolis. Fire Knight, I wouldn't use him. He's only got a one-hitter on the A1. Spider's Den, again, probably wouldn't use him there. Minnow, you could probably use him. Iron Twins, don't know if he's useful in Iron Twins. But overall, I would say The reflect damage. Actually, you know what? I am curious. If we go to stage 15, and I just want to see how much he reflects back off of the passive. We're not gonna do anything super crazy. I just want to see. Yeah, it's only like 4,000 damage. It's really... Place a bunch of buffs. Yeah, I don't... Doesn't matter. 2,000 damage. Yeah, the reflect damage, I think... It's pretty bad. So the passive is unfortunately pretty bad. I think even in Fire Knight, you know, you're only reflecting 1. So even if the Fire Knight, even if it like counts as a hit, it only counts as 1 hit, and you have to actually get hit in order for it to work. So I'm not sure that I'd use him in Fire Knight. And that passive, you're not going to be like using him for the passive. Let's go into Hydra. Thankfully, we reset. And let's just keep it on. Let's keep it on Brutal. Let's use the Brutal team. And instead of... Here, you know what? Let's just use this team. We'll take you out, bring you in. This isn't the team I normally use. This is my Nightmare team, but we'll just try it out. Oh, and there's no Provoke head. Oh, well, that's a bummer, isn't it? Okay, that's fine. We can still do a damage check. And you know what? Why don't we just throw out decreased crit rate while we're at it? Now they can't critical hit us. Schmack, schmack, schmack. Reset you. Because I want to kill these guys as quick as possible. Save that. No. Marius. I'll take those buffs back. Boom, boom, boom. It's just A1 here because I was, for some reason, I was just 100% convinced that that was going to happen. We can save that. Ah, you guy, you silly goose, you. Okay, that's fine. Look at that. Soul Reap for the win. Let's go. We'll just use the A1 until we can get the drop defense, but almost 500,000 already on the A1 with no drop defense or weaken. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Actually, how much ignore defense were we getting? So we're getting about 30% ignore defense here. Let's put increased defense back up so that we can get the and let's see what the A3 can do. 781,000. So honestly, not as good as I thought it would be. I thought we might get over 1 million on that, especially because the A1 was hit pretty hard without any drop defense or weaken. Let's see the AoE. Okay, that AoE was pretty strong, right? 600, about 600k. Also pretty good. Happy with that damage. Pretty good. Let's turn meter boost. I want to try the A1 again. Now that we've got drop defense and weaken out and increased defense. Schmack. 572. Interesting. I wonder, you know, well, I guess, you know, to be fair, I sometimes forget this, but we've got 35% ignore defense from Merciless, 30% ignore defense, so 65% ignore defense from total, and then you've also got potentially 25% more ignore defense, so that would be 90% ignore defense. So in Helm Smasher procs, you're basically getting pretty much true damage, and at that point it's just the weaken that that you're benefiting from. Okay, now we've got the Provoke head, so we can Now we can provoke this guy for 2 turns, unless I forgot to, unless it's on cooldown. It is. So I should have used Donnie's reset. 400,000 there. We'll save that. I might be able to speed boost us past. Yes, I think I can. I think I can. Save that. Oh, he's the wrong affinity, though. And we weak it. Unfortunate. So we can just save all that. But the, I mean, I think you guys kind of get the picture, right? You can, if you don't weak it, you can 2-turn provoke. So why don't we, let's just give it one more go. Excuse me. Reset you again, and back-to-back weak hits. We'll go ahead and end the battle there. And then I want to see, how does he do just on a quick battle? Looks like we'll go the full amount. So 189 out of Marius, 48.6 out of Balthus. That's actually pretty good. You know, Marius is a max HP enemy, damage dealer, 3-time hitter. So this dude just like, it's insane the amount of damage he does. But 48.5 million with the 2-turn provoke, because you can provoke the you can control the cleansing head, and then decrease crit rate, totally neutralizing their ability to critical hit you, because it's a 30% decrease crit rate. It's honestly not bad. One area that I can't show him in, unfortunately, that I think he's really good in is also Doom Tower Magma Dragon. So Magma Dragon is the one that you can provoke. He's got a 2-turn provoke on a 4-turn cooldown. So definitely useful there, right? If you really need a provoker, like if you didn't get a Wixwell, if you don't have a Seeker, he can serve that role for you, for sure. I think the last place I want to show him in before I wrap up the video is Faction Wars. I do want to see what this guy can put out damage-wise. So we'll actually go in here. We'll put him as the lead because we're getting 30% bonus defense in Faction Crypts. And this is Faction Wars Hard. I'm not super far into Faction Wars Hard. We got to resist there. That's unfortunate. So he'll be able to put all of his buffs out. But let's taunt everybody. And unkillable. Ally protect everybody. Drop defense and weaken, hopefully. Oh, yeah, that was a good one. Good for us. And let's slow it down. Let's see what he does in the AoE here. Yeah, that's pretty good damage, man. That's pretty good damage. I'm happy with that. It was like 150,000, something like that. You know, somewhere in that range, 200k, 150 to, you know, a little bit more. Very happy with that damage. Let's see the A1. Yeah, about 46,000. Still pretty good. And that was with the shield as well. So definitely a solid damage dealer in Faction Wars Hard. Look at that, 130,000 on that one. We'll just do the same thing. Boom. And don't want to... This guy is the bane of my existence. We can't fear anybody or petrify anybody because they'll get a cleanse and a block debuffs. Drop defense and we can go out. And I don't want to... I actually don't want to kill everyone too fast, but let's just go ahead and slow it down again. Yeah, look at that. 178,000. So 150 to 200k damage. It's nice, man. It's good. It's good damage. We won't have the drop defense and weaken back, but it's fine. 160,000 on the A1. It's good. It's very good. I'm impressed. Might be my option for DPS. Okay, this is fine. Let's just go ahead and try it anyway. Still doing about 100k. Almost one-shots a couple of them. Does one-shot one of the sport champions. So that's really good. And it's fine. Everything's fine. Everything is A-okay. Ally protect. Unfortunately, we got the heal reduction out. Let's go ahead and get rid of you. 218,000. It's good. I'm impressed. Very good Faction Wars option here. Very, very good. I guess we can try. Yep, drop defense and weaken. And Schmackaroony, 121,000. There we go. 5-star speed glyph. Let's go ahead. Since this is closing up in about 20 minutes anyway, let's just keep it going. You guys can watch me struggle in Faction Wars hard. And resist right there. Maybe we can petrify. Perfect. And True Fear, everybody. Why don't we just go ahead and taunt everybody as well. And I want to save that for the next round. Let's go here. Schmack. Okay, quite a bit less damage that time. I guess we weak hit. That's why. Sorry. We weak hit. It was still pretty good damage on a couple of them that he critical hit on. So that's good. I take it back. I was like, why is their health bar so low? And again, now they're going to have a harder time critical hitting us, which is great. Heal reduction. Let's go here. Yeah, that's a solid A3, man. Solid A3. I should have gone after you. It's fine. You're petrified. Yeah, petrification's gonna... What is it? Petrification gives you like 80% damage mitigation or something. It's crazy. Now we just have to worry about the good old affinity matchups. Love it. Perfect. 100,000 on that one. Kaja the Rye. Kaja the Rye. I like Kaja the Rye. Do you guys? I think she's a really good champion. All right, we'll save that. Let's go drop defense and weaken. That's fine. Bada bing, bada boom, and schmack. Look at that. Almost one-shot the entire wave. Except for Kaja the Rye, who has an AoE revive. So that could have been bad if we didn't have Fabian. Yeah, man, I'm having a good old time. Okay, let's petrify you. Taunt everybody. Ally protect everybody. Heal reduction everybody. AoE everybody. Schmack, look at that. I mean, the damage is good. I mean, we've got no drop defense or weaken, and we take out the 2 damage dealers, and we almost take out the reviver as well. So you can definitely color me impressed here with his damage output. It's good, man. It's very, very good. Let's go ahead and take you out. Look at that. Almost 300,000 on that one. He's good. I'm really liking this guy. Weak hit on that guy, so let's try to get you. Double weak hit. Bummer. Tagore, a very good reviver. Very good AoE reviver, epic champion. And we weak hit. One-shot everybody else, but we weak hit him. We've got the Provoke, which is good, and the True Fear now. So I think we'll be okay. Unfortunately, with the weak hits. Affinity, affinity, affinity. But this isn't the worst thing. You know, what I've learned about Faction Wars Hard, a weak hit again, is that you actually do kind of want to take things slow, right? Oh, I hit auto instead. I'm a big, stupid poo-poo head. That's okay, though. Let's just save it. We'll go. We'll taunt everybody. Let's go here. And boom. Look at that. Look at that. We're going to have to brace ourselves here, I think. Let's try to take out one of the damage dealers, which we do, about 208,000. Can we maybe get away with taking out another one? Yes, okay. 125. So I think we'll be okay. We've got fears up too, so I think it'll... Nope. There we go. Take you out and take you out. 61,000 even with the Petrify there. Block everybody out. Don't need the Petrify now. We'll save that. Taunt everybody. Ally Protect just in case. Drop Defense and Weaken. And... yeah, it's really good damage. Really good damage. We'll throw it on auto. This is the last fight. So, yeah, I mean, you know, final thoughts, I guess. Faction Wars, definitely his #1 spot, in my opinion. A very solid option for a damage dealer here. He's got some control with the 2-turn Provoke. He's got decreased crit rate, which is great for just mitigating some of that damage. You know, 2-turn Provoke in Hydra, very, very good. Again, you know, color me impressed with that. Disappointing parts. Low chance of hitting the decreased attack on a single target enemy is not great, especially on an epic champion in today's day and age. You would probably want this to be much higher, or maybe even potentially an AoE, like a 40% chance on all enemies on an AoE. The decreased crit rate is, I think it by itself, I would say it's probably not... I wouldn't say it's good by itself. Maybe bring something else, right? Maybe decrease crit rate and like a small version of Weaken. Maybe a decreased crit rate and, you know, maybe... I don't know. Maybe you could do something cool like decrease crit rate, but increase crit damage on all allies. That could be kind of cool, right? Like the sort of inverse. Increased crit rate, I don't think is a very good buff. I think most people build their champions with 100% crit rate no matter what. But maybe an increased crit damage on your allies while placing decreased crit rate on all enemies would be pretty cool. So maybe if they ever get around to buffing epics, they could do something like that. The Provoke is very nice. The heal is nice. The 4-turn cooldown, it used to be that I would say 4-turn cooldowns like, it's pretty long, you know, it is what it is. But a 2-turn Provoke on a 4-turn cooldown with the chance out of the 4-piece Merciless, the 30% chance to decrease a random skill's cooldown by 1 turn when dealing damage is very nice. I think 4-piece Merciless has brought a lot of older champions kind of back into the conversation of being more usable than they ever were, because a 4-turn cooldown isn't the end of the world anymore, because you have a lot of ways of decreasing cooldowns now. So I really like that. The passive is horrible. I think it's really bad. The few times that we even saw it in action, it just wasn't doing anything. Like 2,000 damage, I think I saw out of one of them. So I think maybe add in something else here, right? Reflects, you know, maybe you buff it 75% of the damage back to the attacker. Just make him someone who, like, in the arena especially, like if you get hit by a Marius is going to kill himself as well. Like that could be kind of cool, right? But even in PvE, maybe you add something against bosses where, like, you know, the damage inflicted is... Maybe make it more of like a War Master thing. Like it's based on the enemy max HP. So it's like a little War Master proc on the passive. And you can put it on like a cooldown, you know, maybe put it on like a 2-turn cooldown. But I think that would be better. I'm fine with the Faction Crypts. He's really good in Faction Crypts, so the aura doesn't, like, you know, I'm not saying it's good, but it's certainly not horrible. And then I definitely recommend, if you have a 6-star, I would definitely recommend 6-star Crushing Red. So yeah, overall, I don't typically do like gradings when I review these champions, but Balthus Droglord, I would probably, you know, maybe that's something I'll start doing in my videos. I don't think I really do like letter grades. But for an epic champion, I would probably give him like a C+, B-. I think he's a solid champion. I don't think you can use him everywhere, but the areas I think you can use him, I think he's actually very good. Faction Wars, Hydra, Dragonheart, 10, he was pretty good in there, just dealing damage and helping us stay alive with the drop crit rate and the drop attack. So yeah, I think C+ is probably a good rating for this guy. The reason why I wouldn't rate him higher is because I guess I'll give some justification. I've got other 6-star Crushing Rend epic champions who just deal way more damage than he does. Way more damage, and they have a little bit more in their kit, right? They're not just bringing a decreased crit rate, they're bringing multiple things like drop speed or, AoE drop defense or AoE drop attack or, this or that, right? So I would probably rate those champions more of like, B+ A- tier, and that's why I would give him like a C+ B-. So overall, though, I'm very impressed with Balthus Droglord. I don't know if I'd recommend building him, but if you do need some help in some of those areas, he might not be a horrible option. So anyway, I'm going to end the video there, guys. Thank you so much for dropping by the channel. As always, I really appreciate it, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.